Shalom. This is Truth is Everlasting. Lion's Den. I am Yahweh Sop. I camp out with Lion's Den, Hawan Ben Yeshua in Jacksonville, Florida. But first, I'll to give a prayer to the Father, to the Son, to the elders, to the Akims, to the women and children around the world in Paleo-Hebrew language. Kal halayim la Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaCharokah Kodash Mahamah, in the name of Yahweh Shai, in spirit and holy and in truth. The warners to the 144,000 chosen elect, the warners to the elders of GMS, the warners to the elders of Lion Den's camp, salutations to the Akims who are on the four corners of the earth, and to the women and children, Shalom. Okay, but it was a couple of months back or last year, I did a lesson on something similar to a video like this, but this one has more detail. I'm going to try to let it play as much as it can before I go into scripture. It says here that the so-called white folks finally admit the truth, right? It says here the black Americans are the real indigenous of America. The title of this lesson, he covers the faces of the judges. Okay? So, here we go.
These portraits represent figures of considerable importance, remarkable artistry. The craftsmanship alone suggests extraordinary resources and skill. These works represent indigenous American figures of extraordinary historical significance, preserved under federal authority, a thriving melanated civilization of considerable refinement. They are maintained here for preservation and study. The public is told that every melanated face began in the bottom of a boat from Africa. But these works depict the indigenous Asiatics of America. They didn't come from Africa, they were here, established and sovereign, before the continent even split. This figure in Egypt, New York, symbolizes an ancient exchange of Moorish knowledge and gold, a relationship that predates our modern institutions. The iconography suggests guidance, instruction, stewardship.
Wow. Mr. Kennedy, thank you for bringing us here. This is incredible. She looks just like my grandmother.
It very well may be. History has a way of hiding in plain sight.
We are looking at the true empresses of America, the matriarchs of the Tamari Empire. The history taught above ground is a staged theater.
If Kennedy continues, we will lose everything. He is gaining too much power. The blacks belong to us. If they wake up to who they truly are, we will lose everything and Rome will fall. We all took the oath to defend Rome. We have to act now.
Take the order.
Mr. President, who are these figures?
The human mind, when cultivated without constraint, produces extraordinary achievements: art, governance, science, architecture. Yet history often records triumph selectively to disregard black excellence, emphasizing white accomplishments while minimizing...
If Kennedy continues, we will lose everything. If they wake up to who they truly are, we will lose everything and Rome will fall. We all took the Freemasonic oath to defend Rome. We have to act now. Make the order.
Mr. President, why preserve such a collection here?
These public statements about true black history and identity provoke strong reactions, particularly from groups concerned about political stability and want me eliminated.
They're starting to question the narrative. We must do something to stop it. We cannot allow them to learn indigenous history. We must keep pushing the out-of-Africa theory, sir. We must push more slave movies, more out-of-Africa movies, so they never know.
These works depict figures from early civilizations whose contributions have been insufficiently acknowledged. Well, I must say, I'm in very good company. I don't know what I'd do without beautiful black women around. They keep the day interesting. They're stealing the spotlight from me. Well, I must say, black women are by far among the most beautiful women on the planet. A man would have to be blind not to notice.
Now, hold on, Mr. President. Don't steal them all. Save some for the rest of us.
I'll do my best.
A new discovery which has not yet been published. It relates directly to the black communities across America. This is a drawing from life that was made, believe it or not, by a so-called American Indian. They were a black people who built fantastic boats. They were like Viking boats. And there are still native blacks in Mexico. That's never been explained by archaeologists before Columbus arrived. DNA tests done on them. DNA tests done on the bones of some of the Olmec people, not all of them, the ancient remains, show a definite genetic trace, not to Africa only, but across the Pacific. There's this definite trace, lineage that can trace out towards Hawaii and beyond Hawaii.
It's like I can't help it, but they keep using the word black. That was invented by the so-called white people. There's no such thing as black and white. Okay? The different shades of color, right? Dark skin, light skin, brown skin. Okay? But anyway, I just want to throw that out in there. Here we go.
Then they began a worldwide match of DNA. Well, these strange black people, who do they match up with? They don't match up with Africans. The contribution of blacks, not only to America, but to the world, is profound. Imagine if I could take from each one of you as an individual everything you knew about life up to last week and just erase it. Where would you be? You'd be lost. You'd be incompetent. You wouldn't know how to plan for the future. And you do the same thing with a people. If you erase their history, or you don't tell enough about their past, they also become incompetent and they can't fulfill the future.
Boom.
Before complete kidney failure, I sent
Look,
out
I
one
don't
warning
control
sign that no one
YouTube,
takes
man.
seriously.
Give
And
it a
by the
minute.
time they do, I've already lost.
So become incompetent and they can't fulfill the future.
There we go. Okay? So, as you can see, Slovakia, the so-called white people, they know who our people really are, right? And they know who the head tribe of all tribes really are as well. And you can see how furious, right, they were in that room, okay? They showed the total hatred of respecting and honoring authority of power, right? That's given to our people, the 12 tribes, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and speckled birds, okay? So they don't want to lose what, the Edomites don't want to lose what they have stolen, but they're going to have to give it up anyway. I want to go to Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? You won't find no 501c3 incorporated Christian church telling our people who the wicked really are, because they are our participant. They have contract, right, with the 501c3 contract with the wicked. Slovakia. I want to go to Proverbs chapter 16, verse 4. Yahushua has made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So as you can see, Yahweh, the Father and Yahushua, okay, have created all this, all the wicked, right, to prove to the world what wicked is, and to teach us, right, who one time turned our back on Yahweh Bashin Yahushua, to teach us what wickedness is, and at the same time to perfect us. Okay? When a father loves his son and daughter, what he does, he will spank them over and over until they get it in their head, right? And not only until they get it, but at the same time teaching them the importance of being disciplined and fearing Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, these 501c3 incorporated churches say you should not fear God. No. Scripture tells you have to fear. It's not a bad fear. It's a good fear. Okay? Moving on to Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 7. Yeah. Concerning Edom, thou said Yahweh of hosts of army, is wisdom no more in Teman? his counsel perish from the prudent. Is their wisdom vanished? Yeah. Their wisdom has been deteriorating ever since President Kennedy started talking and revealing the truth. You know? I wouldn't be surprised if that was the real reason why they, took him out, unalived him, right? Let me go to Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely Yahweh's power will do nothing, but he reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets. And, that started all the way back with our Bivens in 1960. Okay? 1-1 West. And then they jumped to GMS. And it grew wildfire around the world without even taking a plane. How you like that? Once he got into the internet, right, to this day, what? I mean, they started before 2007, because that's, I believe, when they went into YouTube. They've been doing it way before. Okay? Where was I? Okay, I want to go to Jeremiah chapter 50. I'll start with verse 9. For lo, I will rise and cause to come up against Babylon, right? This is spiritual Babylon over here, so-called America, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From then she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as of mighty expert men. None shall return in vain. Well, now you know why around the world, Russia, China, it's like in other countries, Iran, they're getting ready. Because America, right, along with the little people, they don't stop going around the world raping, robbing, and plundering and unaliving people. Okay? They say peace, peace, but at the same time, they break treaties. People around the world, governments around the world are fed up. Edomites' own people of government around the world are fed up. Verse 12, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bears you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, a desert. That's how bad and ugly things are going to get over here. Okay? And I mean, that's going to start when they do the second shutdown, because of these data centers. But also this is going to happen with when those missiles are turned loose from, around the world. Okay? It's going to desecrate this country. Set it on fire. Verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, around about. All ye that bend their bow, shoot at her, spare no arrow, for she has sinned against Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. You know what that means, right? They're going to shoot so many missiles, right, that they're not going to stop. I mean, it's going to cover the sky, okay? I forgot how many there were, but it's going to be a lot. Verse 15, shout against her round about. She has given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yahweh Shai. Take vengeance upon her as she has done, do unto her. Yeah. Those satellite dishes that they have, the data centers they have above ground and underground, they're all going to come to a halt. Okay? None is going to save her, no protect her. Verse 16, cut off the sword from Babylon, and him that has, and him that handles the sickle in the times of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. Oops, I got more. Verse 31. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, said Yahweh's power of hosts of army. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. Slakia, verse 32. And the most proud shall be stubble. Woo! What happened? I missed it. Oh, here it goes, 32. And 4, and none shall rise him up, and I will kindle a fire in his cities. Yeah, it's going to get ugly. And it shall devour all round about him. Yep, all over America. Nobody is going to escape. I don't care how deep those holes are. Verse 33, thou said Yahweh of hosts of army, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go. Yeah, you don't want to let us go. You want to upgrade slavery. You want to have a, what they call that? It's like, you want to put a patent on God's people, right? The MOTV, right? The chip. And on your own people too, okay? But you're not going to be able to do it to all God's people. Only 200. 144,000 chosen elect, and 1/3 of men, women, and children will not take it. Verse 34, their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Woo. He shall truly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Verse 35. A sword is upon the Chaldeans. Those are the wizards of the Edomites, right? Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Billy the Gate, and the rest of the Goonies. Said Yahweh Shai, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her prince, and upon her wise men. Yeah, you're in big trouble. Verse 43. The king of Babylon has heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pain as a woman in travail. Yep. I got a couple of videos that I saw. Donald Trump around having his meetings with international foreign other countries. Couldn't hold it. He was farting left and right in front of them. They had to get up and leave. Verse 44. See if I can, well, not today. I'll see if I can find and do a lesson. Verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsels of Yahweh Shai, that he has taken against Babylon, and his purpose, that he has purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Oh yeah. It's a done deal. It's a guarantee. It will happen. I want to go and leave it with Jeremiah chapter 51. I'll start with verse 1. Thou said Yahweh Shai, behold, I will rise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me. A destroying wind. Verse 2. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. You know, the Edomites in America that are in power, they know this, okay? All they can do is chip the amount of people that is allowed from Yahweh Shem Yahshua to chip, and the people that are wealthy, they are moving fast into islands, Puerto Rico and other islands, right? And making underground bunkers, and the rest of out here are going to be hiding under the ground, right? Which is great because they're going to be the first ones to go into slavery anyway. Verse 6, flee out of the myth of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time that Yahweh Shai's vengeance he will render unto her a recompense. Verse 7, Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh Shai's hand that made all the earth drunk. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Yeah. You know, and this thing that our people want to keep calling themselves Africans when they're not Africans. And then when you have Africa participating and saying that our people are Africans, when they should be, you know, saying the truth. But that's okay, because all nations had their hands in the cup, and all nations have to pay for what they've done to my people. Verse 9, we will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. Ooh-wee. That was the last of the verse. As you can see, so much truth is coming out. Okay? Let me see if I can put a little bit more before I turn it off. Wait, can't help this. Here we go.
Before this nation was named, indigenous black peoples lived, built, and governed here. The great world's fairs were remnants of their cities. Across this nation once stood many centers of black commerce, not one Wall Street, but many. These communities were connected by trade, by innovation, by grand world fairs. They represented an older world still alive, and that continuity frightened those who sought control. So those centers were dismantled, their prosperity erased by the very forces that later claimed to civilize this nation. The word American describes the people of the copper-colored race. Its original heirs, the original nobility of this country, are the so-called black Americans. They are heirs to histories older than myth.
The truth is unfolding, and lies that has been told for many decades are beginning to fade away, because when you hear words like these from renowned people that was unalive because of the truth that they spoke, and it cost them their life, you will not believe that could this be the reason why they were silenced? Could this be the reason why people that speak this way didn't get to power? You begin to ask different questions, and they might not be too far from the truth. Welcome to my channel. What you just watched is a speech by ex-President of America, Jeff Kennedy, and we're going to be watching more videos, more clips from him and other.
Wait, let me stop it there and leave it with this. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 4 and 5. Every valley shall be exalted, every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. Verse 5, and I'll leave it with this. And the glory of Yahweh shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it. Woo! It's getting interesting. It's going to get ugly out there, that's for sure, okay? The second shutdown is the last shutdown. I hope that this was edifying, and with that, I'll say Shalom.